Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I just wanted to give a couple of announcements as we wrap up Catholic Single and Flourishing. What was absolutely amazing is that this blew out my expectations for this podcast, this series on Catholic Single and Flourishing. So, I first of all just want to thank you for listening, for being a part of this. And as I continue to think about ways that I can serve you, I'm going to be moving into an off season. I work full time for Focus, as many of you know, as a leadership coach using a lot of leadership skills and principles. And I applied those skills and principles within this podcast in coaching in this area. This off season is going to allow me to reflect and think more deeply on how I might be able to help you. And you can contribute to the discussion in a way that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. It's also going to allow me to continue to analyze my effectiveness in podcasting and grow in my podcasting skills. And of course, the off season is going to allow me to have a little bit more time and a little bit more space to work on my own dating life, work on my own challenges and issues that I need to overcome when it comes to my own Catholic single life. I originally planned for 12 episodes for the series, and I wanted to see where things go. And again, this was super successful. So thank you for your help. I seem to have found a particular audience that I can speak to, an audience that is hungering and wanting to listen to what content is here, what's available, specifically Catholic singles, and particularly those who are experiencing a time of perpetual singleness. That's who I'm really trying to speak to here. And because of the success of this series, there's a good chance that I'm going to be continuing to work on the Catholic Single and Flourishing series as we go forward into future seasons of the podcast. But I'm going to need your help. And that's why I entitled this wrap up episode called 5 Ways That You Can Help Me Help You. So, with that, here are the 5 ways. Number one, I'm going to put a survey in the show notes, and I'm also going to email this out. So if you're on my email list, keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be I'm going to be asking you to recommend future topics that you are interested in hearing from, because I know there's plenty more I could talk about, but I want to hear what is my audience wanting to hear about. Number two, you can recommend future guests that you want to be a part of this podcast, because I only know so many people. It seems like the guest episodes did a really good job speaking to this audience, and at the same time, I would like to hear who you think you would want to hear on this podcast to help reach others. And then thirdly, within the survey is you can recommend resources, or I'm putting out resources of expanding offerings that I can give to you in ways that I think could possibly serve you. But I want to hear what you would recommend for resources that you would find helpful. Secondly, in terms of the 5 ways that you can help me help you, I have a free ebook out there that I created at the beginning of this series. The free ebook is called Catholic Single and Flourishing: Overcoming the Cycle of Pressure and Inaction. Because when I did my research at the beginning of this, I noticed that there was a lot of pressure that singles are feeling, and it's keeping them from moving forward and taking action. And you can find that at CatholicSinglesSolutions.com. Again, I'll leave a link in the show notes there. What that is, it's free. All it really costs is your email, and you'll be on my email newsletter list, so you'll be able to be looped into future opportunities, future resources that I will be providing for you, and future tips that will help you discover purpose and live out your God-inspired call in your single life. Thirdly, I want to encourage you to re-listen to any of these episodes. Just because you heard it once doesn't mean you're a master at it. We know this in our prayer lives. We don't just read scripture once. We go back to it because God's going to speak to us in different ways throughout different points in our lives. And not to equate myself with scripture and God himself, but I do think that these episodes, things will stick out to us based on where we're coming from at different points in our lives there. Some of the most popular episodes have been the guest ones, especially with Arleen Spenceley, 3 Things Men Want Women to Know, 3 Things Women Want Men to Know. And Dr. Greg Bottaro, the episode I did with him was also a very popular episode. In terms of the solo episodes that I did, the first episode of the series, the fourth episode of the series, the first one was the determining factor in living your God-inspired calling, your vocation. And also the fourth episode, which was 4 lessons I learned going on a date at a focus conference that was astronomically successful with the Seek podcast. So I want to thank Focus and thank the marketing department there for getting that out there, giving me that opportunity to reach more people and bring more people into this audience here. Fourthly, I want to encourage you to share this podcast with others. I'm also on YouTube as well, so you can share those with other people, particularly those who are Catholic singles and those who are experiencing a time of perpetual singleness. The more people listen to this, the more people we can reach, the more lives that are changed. I know that people are really hungering for this content just because this series has really taken off in popularity. So we can speak to that group of people or this group of people. I mean, we're all part of that group of people. And I think that sharing this can be a very good opportunity of how we can reach more people, how we can speak to their hearts together. And then fifthly, this is number 5, is I'm looking for a new production assistant. So if you want to learn about audio video editing, if you want to learn about coaching, if you want to learn about business and marketing in general, and this series has really spoken to you, this could be a really good opportunity. I'm not looking for somebody who has all this experience professionally, and I'm not going to be certainly hiring anybody full-time to do production assistance anytime soon. I'm just looking for somebody who is interested in growing in this area, in growing in the skill, growing in this industry potentially. It's about 3 hours per week once you're all trained and ready to go. Over the course of maybe 2 or 3 months, it is a significant time commitment in a sense that you do need to commit to something, but it isn't a very significant time commitment because it's just just a few hours per week I'm asking of you over the course of a couple of months at a time. I think the next season that I'm going to be doing will be out in the summer in a couple of months. So right now I'm just accepting applications or accepting emails of interest if you are at all interested, and I will have my email in the show notes that you can check out and just send me an email of interest, or reach out to me on Instagram, or reach out to me on other means of social media like LinkedIn or Facebook. A major shout out to Kylie Doherty, who helped me with this series. She was my production assistant this season, and I could not have put out the quality of content without her hard work and her diligence. She did a lot of hard work. A lot of her time was invested in the video and audio editing, and she also produced incredible graphics for episode art and promotional clips that were released on social media. So I could not have done this quality of content on a consistent basis without her help. So thank you so much to Kylie for all of her hard work. Again, check the show notes for my email if you're interested in this opportunity. This isn't compensation. I don't give compensation in the traditional sense, but what I do is give compensation, 1, through your professional development, 2, through coaching sessions, which I think is a huge value in this. And then thirdly is my professional reference, of course. Also, final thing, just know that you can sign up if you are interested in a discovery call, a free session. Feel free to reach out to me via email and we can discuss if this is right for you at this time. And you can have one-on-one time with me where I go into what are the challenges that you're facing and strategizing how to overcome those challenges. And we can talk about what a potential coaching relationship looks like, whether that be in group coaching and one-on-one coaching. So thank you for allowing me to share all my thoughts here. Thank you for listening to this podcast in this podcast series. Again, as always, what I want to remind you is to continue to live that God-inspired life. Live inspired. Live God-inspired.